You want to be a super successful man or woman? You want to know the secrets to the true and lasting success? Join me, Bola Olayode, on the program The Great Mind on NTA Osogbo every Saturday morning, where you will be opportuned to be meeting with the great men and women of our time who will be revealing to you the real philosophy of success. Program The Great Mind, the program that reveals the secrets to the true and lasting success. I'm Bola Olayode, your regular hostess of the program. On this episode of the program, we are featuring the immediate past Deputy Speaker in Osun Assembly and the upper way of Ife land. Honorable Ropo Oyewole can be described as a self-made man who, through hard work and the backing of the Supreme Being, is what he is today. He recently went to his church in Ile-Ife to give thanks to the Supreme Being for seeing him through the unbroken 10 years as a legislator in Osun Parliament. Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole was born to late Mrs. Moyosoluwa Oyewole in Oboyomi and Pa James Oyewole in November 1, 1964 in Ile-Ife. He is, respectively, from Akenon's compound Ilare and Jore's compound Okerewe, Ile-Ife. He started his elementary education at St. Peter's Anglican Primary School in Rema, Ile-Ife. Between 1971 and 1976, he attended Olurudu High School between 1977 and 1982. He later proceeded to the School of Arts and Science, popularly known as Oscars then. He was there for his A-levels between 1982 and 1984. He got his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1988 from Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, in 1992. He later obtained master's degree in public administration from the same Obafemi Awolowo University. Honorable Ropo Oyewole has ventured into the legal profession also through this Obafemi Awolowo University. Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole, who can best be described as a real grassroots man, makes this revelation about his childhood.
In Ile-Ife here, and I would rather say it was interesting because I grew up within the compound. So right from childhood, one has been exposed to the communal life. We grew up in Agbole where you have to live with members of the extended family. And it was always interesting because then you have lots of people, you have the younger ones, the elders, the parents. Because when you're within the Yoruba sector, you have many parents, you have many papas, you have many mamas. So life is always, at that stage it was interesting because I remember at night we sleep in the open space within the house. That's a situation where you have to have about 20 or 30. Now, leave the earth aspect of it, it was always interesting and fun, and you see, within the world known to us then, it was always interesting. And it's a very good experience to remember. From that, where I would ask humble background, it was rough and tough, but we thank God because I remember in those days, when you come back from school, you have to hawk. My mom said, I have to hawk. Then at certain time, the aspect I don't like is this idea when they have to wake you up early in the morning, because in those days I have to hawk chewing stick back home, and when you have to do that, it has to be early in the morning. So, and later on, she turned to Alajapa, where you have to sell all sorts of things. She go to the farm, whatever she bring, you have to hawk. So that aspect of hawking, I don't enjoy it, but something you must do. But thank God today, probably the road has been part of what has been sustaining me.
Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole, who got married in June 1991 to Kainde Omowumi ni Adeyeye, and a happy family man, served as a teacher in this Moremi High School for 10 years before entering into politics.
You see, one thing about me is that right from day one, I'm always optimistic in my life. And my own rule is that you just have to keep on moving. No matter the condition, no matter the situation, you just have to continue moving. So, like I told you, even as a teacher then, how much do I earn? Probably I earn about 1,000 or 2,000. And then I have to pay some of my younger ones were in school. I have to pay their school fees. I have to pay my house rent. So, and you know, as a teacher then, before the month runs to an end, you must have taken certain debit, rice, beans, and some other things. So you are already indebted to some people. So as a result of that, I have to balance it up. I went into farming in those days, and my farm was right there at the back of the school. So what I usually do is that I'll come to school early in the morning around 6 a.m. I'll pick the bucket from the school, fetch water, then go into my farm, start working. So when they ring the bell in the school, I will now bath in the school, wear my uniform as a teacher, and come to school. Then when the school closes, you go back to your farm, because that was the only thing we know then, and we just have to survive. It was a sort of challenge, but my own belief is that you just yes, I was later on I started making oye soap. So once you, and those who are involved knows that if you miss 10 minutes, if you are supposed to cut soap by 4 and you are coming back by 4 or 5, you are already in debt. So you have to be time conscious. And when I make my oye soap, I take it to the market, come back to the school, then I go again, I'll go and collect, because you have to give it to them on credit. And those people, they are not helping business then, because they see you as hustlers. So even when they sell your soap, they will not give you money. So you need a higher turnover to be able to survive in that business, and you supplement it with whatever salary you have. Then I was engaged in lecturing here and there. Right from that moment, I'm not used to this idea of just coming back from work, sit down. No, I must be doing something. So I'm always on the move, and that has been my philosophy of life. Always be on the move.
In the year 2001, to replace the slain Honorable Odunayo Olagbajo was purely a divine arrangement.
What I describe is that I just find myself doing politics. That is where I put it. Not that it's not something I really sit down and decide and said I want to go into politics. What happened was that while I was a student, I was involved with student union activity. Later on, I became the PR of my department and some other things like that. Then later, as member of NISA, we are involved in certain activity. In the end, the situation of things in Ife then, this Ife modern care crisis, so we were deeply involved. In some way, all the meeting and there, agitation, try to put things in order. So later on, some of the older ones were in politics. For instance, when I came back from service in 1989, I joined what we call Osun now, Osun State Mass Education Agency. We were having our office at it was not a real employment per se, something like part-time. Then one of the elderly ones in the office then, Ropo Oyewole, was contesting for the chairman of the local government. Then because of my involvement in the youthful activity in the town then, so I was involved. We were trying to mobilize for him, transfer for him. So right from that moment, I started becoming involved. But one thing I saw is that with time, I now discovered that at every party formation, I'm either one of their executive or active member. Even during the SDP era, even though I was not an executive, any party executive, but I was deeply involved in all the activities. So from that moment, we started being involved, and the things started graduating until I found myself contesting. Not that I actually sat down to contest, we were always involved. So later on, I became the secretary of AD there in Ife Central. That was that 1998-99 period. After the demise of Osun Oyewole, I was still the party secretary. So we have a joint then. We call it June 12, opposite Central School right there. So I was there that afternoon. I wanted to cross from one side of the road to the other. So somebody now shouted that, oh, Ropo secretary, go and see the chairman. Oh, people who have interest in contesting for by-election have started submitting their application. So my colleagues who were drinking together started making tests on me that you can only write. They are contesting. Go ahead and contest. Honestly, that was the beginning. Then I now said, it's something I can try. Okay, let's give it a try. And we give it a try, and it materialized as in 2002. I've been deeply involved now.
Yeah.
So my involvement in politics is something like defined intervention. Like that way I just said it.
For his outstanding performance as a parliamentarian after he has completed the term of late Honorable Osun Oyewole in the Osun Assembly. In 2003, Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole was given another mandate by the people of Ife Central State constituency to continue to represent them in Osun Assembly. On the inauguration of the Third Assembly in 2003, because of his excellent performance in the 2 years he spent in the Second Assembly, he was elected the majority leader, the position which made him to be automatically in charge of government business in the House, the role which he excellently discharged to the admiration of all, as he was ever available to explain the government policy thrust on every matter.
But one has come to discover that the ones in Osun State are doing parties. I don't know. And I'm very much convinced that it's not because they don't have the number of students are not there, but I'm of the opinion that the number they declare as their students is far, far below the reality. Maybe if we have to review the existing entity that set up most of these institutions and let them be self-sustaining. If they cannot sustain their staff or whatever, then maybe, because we are now having the same university to lead. And the situation, if we know individuals that have set up most of these universities, polytechnics, and they will declare profit at the end of the day. But this one was, the ones in Osun State has always been important. So please, we have to, maybe it has to be a joint effort between your ministry, private ministry, and this house. If there is need for us to recruit the existing elite that will bring sanity to this system, please, we have to do something about it. Thank you.
Because of his good representation of the people of Ife Central constituency at April 2007 polls, Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole called the mandate of his people to continue to be their mouthpiece in Osun Assembly. At the inception of that fourth assembly on June 4, 2007, he emerged as the Deputy Speaker of the Osun Parliament. Being a parliamentarian very committed to the cause of his people, he again displayed this on the floor of the House a week after his assumption of office as the Deputy Speaker. Tuesday, June 12, 2007, Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole, under the matter of urgent public importance, called the attention of the government to Eduabon, Ilesha-Ibadan Road, which had then become a danger zone.
If you are coming from Ibadan, instead of going through the township, you take a new road, outskirts system, that leads to Akure.
Oh, the outskirts?
Yes.
The expressway to Akure?
That is. Starting from that big roundabout, already you leave that road from the express, you leave the express.
Yeah.
Then you take the picture somewhere along the line. If the record is anything to do bad, since the construction of that road, there have been at least 200 vital ones on that particular spot every month and are declaring casualty. What happens is that if you are coming from different and you are taking that road, especially those who are trying that road for the first time, you must have almost get to that point. There are 2 pumps there that will allow you that you will get to the person. But you have to climb. But you must have reached the top of the hill before you get to the pumps. and before you realize it, you are already on the expressway. So as a result of this, most of the people that apply this, especially those who apply the road for the first time, often are not aware that they are hitting the expressway. By the time they realize this, especially those lorries, the accident that has been happening there has been involving lorry, tanker driver, especially those transporting goods, traveling from here to the north. And my appeal is that in my discussion with those who knows, that is, I'll go to the Federal Ministry of Works and I'll go to the Federal Safety Court. Coming from there, you don't touch the express, you just fly the fire bridge that will make you eventually to go to on your road to Osun.
That's billions.
That's billions.
On that day, House unanimously adopted the motion moved by him and resolved that appropriate authority should take urgent action on the problem.
This House is now called on Federal Ministry of Works through the Osun State Governor to please save our soul on the regular accident that used to occur at Ife Head on the where the road coming from Ife makes the express road that goes to Akure by through the following. One, they should erect samples alerting motorists that they are very close to the expressway.
Especially from Ife Head.
Those coming from Ife Head. Or in the alternative, they can divert or get the road from Ife so that it will not enter the express road at 90 degrees. So that will be served as a sort of speed breaker to whoever is coming from that end and entering the road. And as a permanent solution, there should be an overhead bridge linking Ife to Ife so that whoever is coming from Ife will just go over that overhead bridge, linking goes straight to Ife or the somewhat journey to Osogbo or wherever it's going. Thank you.
And one day we are going to say no. The motion passed, and accordingly, I want the resolution of this Honorable House to get to the table of all the concerned people and agencies of government, I mean the office of the governor.
Honorable Ropo Oyewole was a very loyal deputy to his speaker, Honorable Adejare Bello, as the mind of the immediate past speaker of Osun State was always at peace. Anytime he went on official assignment and entrusted his deputy with his responsibilities without the fear of getting himself impeached or having his members incited against him. Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole, all through his 10 unbroken years as a legislator, was known to be a very brave and frank parliamentarian.
Let me tell you this, things are not okay at the local government level. Our acquisition at local government are stinking, and maybe you don't know this. This house will have to do serious surgical operation on local government administrative law. If that is the only thing we are going to do at the end of this term, we have to do it. Things are not okay at the local government. Things are extremely bad, and we will not close our eyes to test like that. The other time, our man, we had problem with the issue of road. Mr. Speaker has mentioned it. But the solution that day was that after you might have commissioned a road, that's the end of it all. Like any other infrastructure, road to have its own lifespan. The moment you construct and there's no maintenance, then the thing deteriorates fast. Then we were made to realize that in those days, because the question was put to them that one Lagos road constructed during Awolowo era, last year, some of them are still in existence today and they are surviving. One of the conclusions we were able to draw in that discussion was that every inch of those roads in those days were being manned by somebody. So if you are passing through from here to Ife and you see a passport, by the time you are telling the man in charge here, you know who to call. That is not. Parliament is the peak of whatever politics you want to talk about. Because in Parliament, that's a situation where all of you have equal rank. But for conveniences, for administrative conveniences, they may say, you be the speaker, you be the deputy, you be the chief whip. But that notwithstanding, you can still not impose your own decision on others. So at that level, everybody is equal. And the situation where you have 26, 30 people coming together to take a decision, there's no way they will agree on it. Then there are a lot of intrigues. Many intrigues. I remember on one occasion, if you reflect back, that was after the 2007 election. So there are some of us that felt strong that the governor then Oyewole used to have this okay, he would say egun jore ko jore on pada si bale. So we were just chatting that day and we felt that such a remark is by our interpretation, that means whether you perform or you don't perform, you are going back home. Then such a remark should not come from people of his own caliber. So we now said, and it was to present his budget that day, we now said, okay, it's one of the remarks we are going to make. So some people came, and by that day I was at my house that morning. One of them came to me and said, DSO, that issue, we must raise it today. I said, okay, right. Even when we were coming to the floor, he still went back to meet the speaker that, Mr. Speaker, you want to raise blah, blah, blah issue, and we all agree on it. If you remember that day, that person was the first person to be called. Man, even if Oyewole had paid Sunny Ade, you can't sing better person. So I started wondering, which type of nonsense is this? I mean, you were the one that was championing all these things. Then within the thinking of an eye, you've done another thing. But I make up my mind on what to say, and I just made my own remark.
Honorable Sikiru Araoye, the former representative of Olaoluwa State Constituency and the chairman House Committee on Works and Transport in the 4th Assembly, has this comment on the immediate past Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Ropo Oyewole, the former Deputy Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, is one of the veterans in the legislature, especially here in Osun State House of Assembly. He's a prudent and very honest human being. He calls spade a spade anytime.
Honorable Ropo Oyewole, who can best be described as a man of destiny and an humble man par excellence, got these commendations from his constituents, relatives, and well-wishers.
I thank God to the Almighty God for the life of my son Ropo, because everything is by God's grace. I didn't dream that he will become the deputy speaker, which I have to thank God. And I want to say something. You know, my own brother, which is the father to Ropo's mother, was a politician without benefit. I later realized that, well, it is what that man has done that come to reality on Ropo's life. So the election is a God gift.
Minister Ropo Oyewole, ọjọ́ ọmọ bíbí ilé Akẹnà ní Ọ̀gbọ́ Ìlàrẹ̀. Ilé Akẹnà níbi tá a wà ibẹ̀ ní bàbá ẹ̀. Ọmọ dáadáa gbáàsì ni ọmọ náà. Inú wa dùn sí ipò tá a gbé sí. Torí pé ìgbà tí ó wà ní majority leader, a rí wípé ìsọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ nínú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ó máa ń dùn mọ́ wa nú púpọ̀. Torí pé ohun tí a expect pé ó máa ṣe tá a fi tì lẹ́yìn òun náà ló sì ń ṣe ń bẹ̀. Ó sì ní àwọn iṣẹ́ tí ó sì gbèsè láàrin ìlú.
Very exemplary. He's of exemplary character. He's, when you say human being, he's a complete human being. He's very humane. And I don't even doubt him becoming the governor of Osun State in the nearest future because of his exemplary character and his mercy towards the downtrodden masses.
Àti gẹ́gẹ́ bí bàbá fún Ropo wá kan ìpàdé, Ropo ṣe dáadáa nítorí pé àwọn ọmọ tó gbà síṣẹ́ ní ìlú òní, especially the central government, and he has been very all that sí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn kò discriminate.
acknowledging his great contribution to the development of the cradle of Yoruba race, the town Ile-Ife. Ooni of Ife, Oba Okunade Shijuade Olubuse II, in commemoration of his 80 years birthday on January 1, 2010, the Imperial Majesty had to honor Honorable Ebenezer Ropo Oyewole with the chieftaincy title of Opawoye of Ife land. Honorable Ropo Oyewole give this piece of advice to all.
The youth is everybody. I want first and foremost, I want everybody to appreciate God and believe fervently in better tomorrow. Because it's only I can't go into the detail. The past, those who know me actually know it was rough and tough, but with determination and God's assistance, one has been able to go this far. You even remember when I had that challenges, because I was one of the people that were retrenched during Akade during that March retrenchment. I was involved, but I remember I only stayed at home for just one day. The following day after I got the letter, I sat down with my family, we decided and right from the second day I kept on moving. My own belief of the rule of the game of life is that you just have to keep on moving.
Honorable Ropo Ebenezer Oyewole has only one ambition. The ambition is this:
I want to continue in the service of humanity. It's an interesting aspect of life. You see, one has been able to, at least with the opportunity one has been able to say things which other people will not see. And as from now, I make up my mind that I'm going to continue in the service of humanity.
As it is an established fact that gratitude to the Supreme Being, even to fellow human beings, usually encourages a benefactor to do more. For that reason, in his appreciation to the Almighty God for seeing him through his 10 unbroken years as a legislator, Honorable Ropo Oyewole and his family members, alongside his well-wishers, among who were his old colleagues, in which Alado Fadba Oba Rufus Ogunwole is one, went to St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Eleyele Ile-Ife, to offer thanksgiving to the Almighty God. Wish Honorable Ropo Oyewole outstanding success in all his future endeavors. With that, we are rounding off this week's edition of the program, That Great Mind. Next Saturday, is another date. God willing, today, stay blessed.
Nothing can tamper with my